Welcome to the Dining at Disney podcast. I'm Kristen, and with me today is a very special co-host. Bubba has started back at work, so he wasn't available this week. So instead, I have my co-host from the Disney list, Aljon.
Hey, everybody. Hey, Kristen. Hey, by the way, do you know we actually can play your theme song before we go live?
Yay!
You want to do that?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's do that.
The Dining at Disney podcast. The Dining at Disney podcast. You'll discover all the best restaurants and food as you hungrily explore the Disney parks. Let's do this thing! The Dining at Disney podcast. And now your hosts, Kristen and Bubba.
Welcome to the Dining at Disney podcast. I'm Kristen, and as you may be able to tell if you are watching, with me it's not Bubba today. Today I have a very special host, and that would be Aljon from the Disney list.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Kristen. Thanks for having me on the show at last minute.
Well, thank you for joining last minute since Bubba had to work today.
Since he had to get on up out of here.
Yeah, he had to go DJ. His job's finally starting back, which is good for Bubba. That means Bubba can pay his bills.
That's important. So I'm here. I'm the substitute Bubba for today, and happy to be here. And I'm just loving the fact that we get to talk about food before dinner. So now I've got the stomach sweats because I'm so hungry right now.
Now you see what it's like for me every time I do the show, because it's always before dinner.
You get comments about this in particular. People say, look, I love Kristen's podcast. I love watching her and Bubba talk about food, dining at Disney. The problem is that I have to listen when I'm not hungry, because otherwise I'm going to be sweating. And that's exactly what's going on. You whet the appetite with all this foodie talk.
Well, for those of you joining us for the first time, welcome. Make sure you like, subscribe, and click the notification bell so you know when we post new content. So, Aljon, what will we be talking about today?
Today, we are going to talk about the best thing we ever ate, Walt Disney World Steak Edition. Watch the bass drop. All right. That's exciting, isn't it?
I feel like I need some glow sticks or something.
You're at STK right now.
No kidding, right?
Yeah, well, that's the kind of music. I think about
yeah.
STK. I think about the best steaks on the Walt Disney World property. I had to come up with some appropriate free-to-use music, of course, for this show, that we wouldn't get pinged.
Yeah, we don't want that.
You know, so, and this is cool. This track is actually Pixel Pig, and it's by D. Young, and it's awesome. So thank you, D. Young, for this Pixel Pig. What an awesome track. And it, like I said, it just puts me in the mood for going back some point. We're going to go back to Disney Springs and go back to STK, because we had an amazing experience there. What a great place to eat steak, and what a great place to hang out with friends. Awesome music and an awesome vibe. Very Miami. I like it.
Yeah, it's a very cool place. I enjoy going there. It's fun.
Nice. The best thing I ever ate.
Now, this is something totally new that we are testing out.
Who came up with that idea?
So, if you like this idea and there's something you want us to talk about, make sure you let us know in the comments section below, because we want to know what you want us to talk about.
Yes.
We want to make this show as much fun as we can for you guys, and give you the content you want to hear and see and what you want to know about. So
Absolutely. I've got my Coronado Springs corksicle.
Gosh, where'd you get that?
Well, thank you. Thank you, Kristen, for going to Coronado Springs.
That was fun.
I love Coronado Springs. Mention that?
I do too. It's my favorite.
So good. Oh, so good.
Okay, so we are excluding from this restaurants that aren't necessarily easy to get to Disney wise. So this is going to be like Disney owned resorts, or the ones that you can take like Disney includes transportation too. So that's like Swan and Dolphin,
Right.
Disney Springs,
Okay.
that would include. But it would remove your Four Seasons, Waldorf Astoria, the Disney Springs hotels in that area. Unfortunately, that removes all of those. So that removes my personal favorite place to have a steak. But we will put that in honorable mention at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. I am a fan of so many of these steak places. If you know me, you know I am a steak person. I am a carnivore. I'm a meatatorist. I love steak. I love it done right. And there's so many Disney places there. Walt Disney World, Disneyland too, by the way. We would like to include Disneyland, but Bubba's the real expert. I mean, I've eaten at Disneyland steak places before. Love it. You know, we had steak at Club 33 for heaven's sake.
Oh, yes.
So that was pretty awesome. But having said that, so many places there, even off property, to have an awesome steak. It would be bad. I would be remiss if I didn't give Bull and Bear over there at Waldorf Astoria a chomp, because I love Bull and Bear. That gives me at least 2 chomps because I love that place so much. Their steak is amazing, but we're discounting that. Or even the steak. Oh my gosh, like the best brunch ever, the best brunch at Plancha. I have to give a chomp for that, and you can't do that because you're discounting eating over at the Four Seasons. So
that removes Kappa.
Yeah, that removes Kappa. I'll give that a chomp too, because I just love, I love all those places, and I'm a steak guy.
Which is why we're doing steak. I was trying to decide steak or hamburger or bread pudding, but I don't eat bread pudding enough for us to do.
This guy,
really, me to decide one place that I think has the best bread pudding, because it's just really not my thing.
Okay, well, those are future topics for discussion, especially when Bubba is out, because I am a bread pudding connoisseur. I am also a hamburger connoisseur. So I know that you think about these topics because of your co-host, and so not that you couldn't have a discussion with Bubba about burgers, because maybe I can join you for that discussion, because that would be amazing. Megan's in the chat. What up, Megan? A fellow fan of the show, friend of the show, and also Floridian now.
Yes.
So she says she's a chicken lover. So we can definitely talk about the best chicken, the winter chicken dinners at some point.
Originally, Bubba and I were going to do the best sandwich.
Oh,
which my sandwich would have been chicken.
I have a feeling he would have said the Monte Cristo.
I'm sure he would.
Yeah,
but he said it's too hard to name one.
It is. It is hard to name one. And if you were to name the chicken, the best chicken in all of the Disney park stateside is going to be the chicken over at the plaza at Disneyland.
Yeah.
It's by far the best fried chicken, and it's in California. What's up with that? If anybody knows fried chicken, it should be dang Florida over there in the South.
Right.
But I'm serious though. That's the best. Okay. I think we're moving off topic here.
We are. Let's get back on topic. Best steak.
Best steak. All right. You're going to go?
I was going to let you go first.
What makes a good steak though first? I can tell you what makes an awesome steak is something that you people and your listeners don't want to hear. They don't want to hear this. It's fat. Fat is like the best thing about steak, is it not?
Yes, it is.
Now, there's a difference between good fat and gristly. Okay, we don't like the gristle stuff, but you want a little bit of that marbling in there.
It gives it flavor.
Give it that nice juicy flavor. You want those juices, and then there's nothing like having a fresh steak delivered to you on the plate after it's rested, and you cut in, you see all the juices just dripping off, so succulent, so warm, so tender and juicy, and then you take your first bite and it just melts in your mouth. And this doesn't happen from simply having your plain old $2 Waffle House steak. No, this happens at the best steakhouses, the best way, the best chefs prepare it, and the best sides that just are mouth-watering that kind of set the course. And then here comes the main course. Here comes your steak. Yummy, yummy.
So I'm going to start off by saying about myself.
Yes.
I have an issue with certain types of foods. One is steak. I am very particular about my steak. I don't like gristly steak. So I typically, unless I'm at a place that I know they know steaks,
Yeah.
like Kappa, Bull and Bear, Victorian Alberts, they know what they're doing. You're not going to get
Shula's.
you're not going to get a bad steak.
Right.
But other than that, I therefore lean to a filet because I don't like the gristle.
I get it.
It grosses me out. I don't like my steak overcooked. And that pretty much, I don't know that that's ever happened when I've ordered a filet, but I have had my other steaks overcooked. And I will say I particularly am all about a medium rare steak.
Mm-hmm.
I can eat medium, but if it is cooked beyond medium, I'm not eating it. And that's true of hamburgers too. Like I'm picky about my hamburgers and the way my steaks are cooked.
Okay. You've got a couple comments from Jeremy Hunt, friend of the show, in the chat. First of all, Megan says boo, and I think she's saying boo because we talked about how Florida Walt Disney World fried chicken is not as good as the Disneyland fried chicken, and I'm sorry, but it's true. I'm sorry, but it's true. Now you go off property and you have different I'm trying to remember PB&G, the pool bar and grill over there at Four Seasons has an amazing chicken waffles, and for that I will give that up to Florida because that is the thing. But we're not talking about that right now. We're talking about what Jeremy Hunt, friend of the show, is saying. Fat, aging, that makes for a good steak. And I agree 100% with you, brother. Ribeye or filet all day. That's his choice. You know me, I'm a New York strip kind of guy. Always have, always will. Big ups to New York strip fans. But that's where the flavor is for me, man. That is where the mouth-watering, succulent steak is for me. Nothing wrong with a ribeye. Nothing wrong with a fillet, as Chef Gordon Ramsay would say, a fillet. But before we get into what, I told you that you would be driving today, but I would be remiss if we didn't talk about some of the steak places that you can get steak at Walt Disney World before we get to the main attraction, the best thing we ever ate, Steak Edition for Dining at Disney.
Okay.
So where can people get great steaks at Walt Disney World?
Other than what we've already mentioned?
Oh, yeah, well, just run down the list if you want.
Okay, well, we have Yachtsman Steakhouse.
Yes. Love Yachtsman's. If you've never been there, it's amazing. They have the aged meat there. They've got the butcher right there. You get to see all the cuts of meat right there in the aging room. And it's the only place that you can find something like that on Disney property. Am I not correct?
Yeah.
Because I don't think they even have it at the Four Seasons. I don't think you can see the meat prepared like that. Right? Or not prepared, but at least like the butcher area. I think
I don't think you can.
I don't think you
now
can.
That I think about
I don't think you can. I think Yachtsman's is the only place that has it.
And that is over at Yacht Club.
I don't even think you can see it at Shula's. I can't remember if they have it or not. But
speaking of Shula's,
yes.
That's another place on the list. And Shula's is located over at the Swan and Dolphin.
Mm-hmm. Amazing. So good.
Now I have not been there. That's one of the few places at Disney that I have not been.
But you have sampled the steak because of the food events that they've had there that you've been invited to cover for Dining at Disney.
Yeah, they're food weekends that they do.
Food weekends. So good, though. So you've had Shula Steak. You just haven't had a full-on dining experience there.
No.
Yeah.
But I have made a few stops at that particular booth to get my steak more than once because it was so good.
You and I both. Now, this is something of a perennial favorite amongst Disney fans in the know, Le Cellier in the Canada Pavilion at Epcot. We talked about that on the Disney list last week, in fact, Le Cellier, when we ranked all of our pavilions there at Epcot. So Le Cellier, they're known for one of your favorites that I think we can leave for later because I have a feeling it's going to come up in the discussion. But Le Cellier, fine little steakhouse there for
Yes.
sure. Now, one of my personal favorites is Jico. I love Jico over there at the Animal Kingdom Lounge. I think it's one of the best Lodge, my lounge. That's where my head's at right now. But once again, just one of my favorite amazing restaurants, one of my favorites. I've talked about it many times, and they do have a great fillet. Indeed. I've had that. And I've had their strip steak as well. Just another awesome place.
We already mentioned Shula's.
Yep, you mentioned Shula's. Now, this is also another favorite of both of ours. Go ahead.
It is Flying Fish. They have a New York strip steak, and I know that has been a favorite of yours because you've ordered that more than once.
Love it to death.
Now, there will be other places that you can get steaks besides the ones we're mentioning, because like Tony's Town Square, I believe, has steak. I mean, a lot of places have a steak on the menu, but we're picking the places that people think of really when it comes to going and getting a good steak.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Flying Fish, so consistent, signature restaurant, and rightfully so. It's just amazing. Their menu's amazing. Their steaks are amazing. So you have that for sure. In particular, there are some special dishes and things that we could go into. And that's not to say that there are good steaks there at the different restaurants there at Walt Disney World that are not attached to signature dining. Okay.
Well, STK, we mentioned that one earlier.
STK, my gosh. Yes. STK is great. They have a great steak over there at Raglan Road as well. We've had steak at several places. I've had steak. I haven't had steak at Liberty Tree.
You mean Liberty Inn?
Or Liberty Inn, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And I have not had steak at Sci-Fi.
I don't do quick service steaks.
No. Not really a thing that I do. But I have had the steak at Kona. That I have had. We'll move on. It's, obviously you could get steak at Cinderella's Royal Table. They have steak over at Tony's Town Square. I've had it. It's actually pretty good because they serve it with a compound garlic butter, which is also very good. They're not necessarily as consistent as I'd like, but then again, I've only eaten there a handful of times, so can't really speak on that as opposed to the other places that we're mentioning, signature dining restaurants that we eat at every time we get the Disney dining plan. Also, I will say that along with some of my favorite steaks, can I give honorable mentions while we're at it?
Yes, you can.
Okay, so the Gibson steak over there at the Boathouse.
That's right.
Salute.
Yeah.
Salute. I like that. So it's great place. Sometimes a little bit loud, sometimes a little bit noisy, but awesome steak. Not as good as STK steak. You would think that STK knows how to make a steak, and they do. Not as good as Plancha's steak, because Plancha's steak is off the chain. By far, my number one steak that is something that has been discounted, I talked to earlier, is the New York strip steak over at Bull and Bear at Waldorf Astoria. So good. So good.
I'm saving my honorable mention to the end.
Okay, that's fine. Hey, look, we have some comments from Jeremy and Megan here.
Yeah, Jeremy says Jico, that their filet is legit.
It is indeed.
And he wants to love Kona, but he says he just doesn't.
What can I say, man? And you and your family, your annual pass holders, you want to love Kona. I want to love Kona too. I want to love Kona for lunch. I want to love Kona for dinner, but especially at the Polynesian Resort, I want to love it, but I just don't, and that's a shame. But I tell you what, I do love at Kona: the drinks.
Oh, yeah, they have amazing drinks.
That's right. And Megan says, butter. That gives a chomp there. You love that? Do you like the sound effects? You don't have the sound effects on your normal show because I'm not there to always engineer it. So
No, and my little tiny thing is not that high tech.
no, but it's still pretty high tech. I have high tech gear for you.
And
you just
I'm
need
not,
to get used to it.
Yeah, and see, that's not my thing. That's your thing.
You're
thing. The former DJ,
I'm the
not
former
me.
DJ. Yes, this is true.
So you've got all this stuff. You understand all of it.
That's right. 20 years in alternative rock radio, guys and gals. That's what happens to you. Okay. So where are we at now, Kristen?
What is our favorite?
Do we need to bring in the music back to usher in the number one favorite thing? Do we? Or just another excuse to just play this track again? Oh, yeah. How much do I like this track? The best thing you ever ate, Disney Steak Edition with Kristen here on Dining at Disney podcast. I'm Aljon. I am not your host. I'm a guest host. Hey, Kristen.
You are filling in for Bubba.
I'm filling in for the Bubster, the big Bubberini.
Do you know there's such a thing as National Bubba Day?
Is that right?
Yes.
Is it a thing?
Yes.
Oh, my goodness.
And today is actually National Bubba Day.
Whoa, today's National Bubba Day?
Yes.
Seriously? National Bubba Day. That was for you, Bub.
Yeah, Taylor posted that today.
Oh my goodness. It's awesome. I knew there was a reason I put that DJ air horn in there just for Bub. He's going to listen to this show and go, Aljon, you're out of your mind.
Yes.
You are out of your cotton picking mind. All right. It's like morning zoo time. I'm sorry.
It's like I let the crazy person on the show.
Hey, this is what you get for getting your husband who's been on morning radio and afternoon and night radio for all this time.
Okay, so let's get into food because that's what people want to know about here at Dining at Disney.
You can tell I'm filibustering because, we want to make sure we hit the 30-minute mark on this podcast. Go ahead.
Oh my gosh. Okay, we're talking favorite. I'll go first since I'm going to save my honorable mention, which is my favorite place to go get a steak anywhere in the world.
Because I've already done my honorable mention. Go ahead.
So my place to go eat that I am choosing for my number one pick is going to be Le Cellier.
All right.
And I am going with their filet mignon. It is a AAA Canadian tenderloin. It has mushroom risotto, asparagus, tomato relish, and topped with truffle butter. I love risotto, especially when it's cooked perfectly.
Yes.
This steak has a nice crust on the outside like you like, and then nice and tender and very moist inside when you go to cut into it. And what makes this so delicious is that truffle butter that they put on top.
Oh.
Truffle butter is amazing.
It's so good.
I love butter on my steak. Like even at home, as you know, when I make a steak, if it's not on the grill, I always cook it with some butter because it just adds that extra deliciousness.
Do I need to go back and put a disclaimer at the top of the show, say do not listen to the show on an empty stomach?
No.
I almost feel I need to.
No, that's okay.
Okay.
But I will say one of the things that I like to add as a side dish is the maple whiskey glazed Brussels sprouts. When I make my Brussels sprouts at home.
So good.
I always make mine. I haven't done them with whiskey, but I do maple, onion, and bacon. And it makes it so delicious.
Right.
It cuts through that bitterness that Brussels sprouts have.
Yes. And you know who does that very same thing? You know who offers that very same thing? One of my favorite steak houses, Morton's.
Oh, see, I haven't been to Morton's.
Yes.
I was going to go with Jewel from City Strollers out in Anaheim a couple years ago. And unfortunately, we couldn't get a reservation. So instead, we went to Benihana's.
It's still not bad.
Oh, no.
Not as good.
That was
Not as good
delicious
as Morton.
'cause I had not been to Benihana's before. That was the first time since we don't have them where we are.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many great steakhouses here in Nashville, I have to say. Whether it's, Del Frisco's, ate there, J. Alexander's, of course. People have eaten there before. But, yeah, that's some good stuff. And there's some awesome places to eat steak here in Nashville. And I'm so hungry for them right now. I can't tell you.
I will say Le Cellier is not an inexpensive place to eat. If you get, and this is at lunch, on the lunch menu, if you do the filet, it's $59.
Ain't cheap.
So
We're going to have to go to STK in Nashville, by the way. Did you know they have an STK here?
I heard they were opening one. I don't remember how long ago, but I know it's one of those things that never crossed my mind since then. And considering we've been to the one in Orlando, I don't know how we didn't know this one was open.
Yeah, absolutely. Megan saying I'm literally eating dinner and I'm hungry for the thing you're describing. The disclaimer may be a good idea. Ha. True that.
Now, for those who don't know about Le Cellier,
Yeah.
it is actually based on a restaurant, Le Cellier, that's located in Quebec.
The cellar.
And I've stayed in the hotel that is right outside of, but I did not go in. And it is, when you walk by, it is super, super fancy. And it looks too expensive for me to even bother looking at a menu. So I skipped that. But it is based on an actual place. And it's designed like it. So it's pretty cool the way Disney did that.
I get it. So good. Okay, shall I tell everyone what my favorite is?
Yes, you can tell everybody your favorite.
So one of my the favorite of all steaks I've ever had there at the Walt Disney World Resort at a Disney-owned and operated restaurant happens to be from Yachtsman's Steakhouse. Yes. We talked about Yachtsman's earlier in the show as one of the places you can get an awesome steak, but I can tell you, there are awesome places. I just passed Narcosis, awesome. Citricos, awesome. Tapanito, very good. Narcosis, probably my favorite. Artist Point, hell yeah, very good. Brown Derby, amazing. California Grill, no doubt. Monsieur Paul, yes. Coral Reef, San Angel, Be Our Guest, of course, pretty good. Grand Flow Cafe, but my favorite of all those, Yachtsman's.
Why Yachtsman's?
Because they have absolutely the best 12-ounce New York strip steak ever. Peppercorn brandy sauce served with one of these awesome selections from the sides. You could get the steakhouse sides of truffle and mac cheese. You get cream spinach, house-made truffle fries, braised mushrooms, or these others, which I have had, the bone marrow seasonal jam, toast green and onion brioche applied to that is so yummy. And that's what I had. They just spread it on and it was just good on a stick. It was so good. And so juicy, so succulent, just amazingly awesome. So much so, the service was amazing. There's no doubt. We had an amazing time. I had the dinner, the steak, the best steak dinner ever that I've had there. As I left, I gave compliments to the chef and the cooks in the back, and I said, if God were to create a steak, it would be from Yachtsman's. That's the biggest compliment I could ever give a restaurant, and I still hold fast to that statement to this day. Yachtsman's proved me wrong. Next time I get back to the resort, I'd like to eat there. Kristen, I'm telling you, I'd like to eat there.
Okay.
And then
we will add it to the list.
We will see. We will save our pennies for that day. And when it comes, I will rejoice. There will be heaven. The gates will open and Saint Peter will come from the pearly gates and say, please come inside and have some steak. Did you like that?
Lost your mind.
I have lost my ever-loving mind because I'm starving. I had a crazy week at work working from home, and now I am so ready to eat hot dogs. That's what we're having for dinner, guys. Is that awesome? All right.
I cooked.
Yeah, you do cook. You cooked salmon yesterday. It was amazing. So good.
On a cedar plank.
Mm-hmm.
You had a nice little arugula salad on the side.
Yes.
With some vinaigrette that I made.
It was good.
So.
But now we're going to slum it and have some hot dogs.
You know, sometimes you just don't feel like cooking.
And that's why I drink. Are you ready to?
I need to mention my honorable mention now.
Oh, okay. Okay, go ahead.
This is the ultimate steak place.
Okay, I was going to start playing your theme music, but go ahead.
Or the ultimate steak I've had. And that would be, as you mentioned earlier, Bull and Bear. But I am going with the tomahawk steak for $2. It's 38-ounce Allen Brothers Prime, 32-day dry aged.
Okay, wait. You said we were. Oh, that okay. That's right. Your honorable mention. Okay. Yep. Mm-hmm. Okay.
It is amazing. At $150 for 2 people, it is amazing. But you have to do. They've got flavorings here too that you can choose from. Mm-hmm. You could do their peppercorn sauce, Bull and Bear steak sauce. They have a Foyot sauce, truffle red wine sauce, spiced chimichurri.
Oh, gosh.
And 100-year balsamic vinaigrette.
Yes, that's good.
And my favorite side item to get is I like the Bull and Bear fries.
I do.
They are delicious, as well as the lobster mac and cheese.
I would marry that steak. It's good. So if I were to put those steaks that I love, yes.
The tomahawk you haven't tried.
No, but I did have leftovers.
Oh, that's right. I did give you some leftovers.
You gave me leftovers, so I did try it. And it was very good.
I saved you some.
It was very good. So, you know, I love the fact that they drizzle it with so much of that yumminess. It's just darn good. But I'm trying to think if I had to choose between a Bull and Bear steak off property versus another off property steak that I do like, which would be the steak at Four Seasons. So would it go Four Seasons versus the Waldorf Astoria? Man, that's hard right there, man.
Is it like choosing your favorite child?
If I had a child, yes. Choosing between my favorite guitars, probably so. Probably so. That's my next closest thing, or my guitar collection that's right behind us. So
we have children; they're fur babies.
Yes, and I could not choose between our cats, so I love them both equally. So that's a good way to wrap things up, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
How about that?
Well, we hope you've enjoyed today's show. If you haven't already, make sure you like, subscribe, and click the notification bell. Make sure to check us out on Anchor. We are available there, as well as your other favorite platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcast. Aljon, where can everybody find us?
So you can find us there at diningatdisney.com, getting refurbished, by the way, so pardon her pixie dust.
Oh, yeah.
So pardon her pixie dust. All the social media accounts at Dining at Disney, Facebook, Instagram, the YouTube. Like, share, and subscribe. Be sure to give us that thumbs up and click that bell for notifications every time she posts a video. I do it on her behalf, so put a thumbs up every time I post a video on their behalf.
Well, where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram at AlJohnGo. I talk about music, guitars. You can also follow us on the Disney List at Disney Listcast on Instagram. Disney List. They're on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter. And every week we're on Sorcerer Radio doing the show where we give and rank top 10, top 5 rankings of our favorite Disney, Marvel, and Star Wars things. Some of our shows in the past recently talked about our top 10 Star Wars moments. We also ranked all of the pavilions in the World Showcase from 11 all the way to number 1 based on a certain set of criteria. I urge everybody to like, share, and subscribe to that show as well.
It was a difficult show to do.
It was a very difficult show to do.
Required a lot of homework.
Yeah. And I will also say this, Kristen is also she's got her ears because she's a authorized Disney vacation planner. So be sure to, as we go through and move through all of this stuff that's going on right now, you're thinking about booking your Walt Disney World or Disneyland trip, your cruise, or your Adventures by Disney, all you have to do is email this young lady here and she will give you a free quote. She will make things easy for you and you will save a buku of dough. Kristen, where can people reach you to book their next Disney, Universal, or cruise?
At themeparksandcruises@gmail.com.
That's amazing.
Also, make sure if you've enjoyed this podcast and you want to support us, that you can do so by, once the website's up and running again, shopping our links. We've got Amazon, Disney Store, and a few others you can check out. We're also on Patreon, where you can support us and you'll receive a little something special, or donate to us on Anchor.
Yep, absolutely. And be sure to check all of our shows. Like I said, the Disney List, where we go live on Facebook every week. Also, Sorcerer Radio at srsounds.com. Sorcerer Radio at srsounds.com. All Disney music all day long at srsounds.com. And then you can also check out our friends Park Hoppers as they go live. We've got Park Hopper Sid, Park Hopper John, talking about Disney news, talking to the fans about Disney. They're live, usually from Disney Springs.
Now from Disney Springs.
Now from Disney Springs. And they are also changing their time of broadcast up because now they're on every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern, live on Facebook. So be sure.
But now they're moving to Tuesdays.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So you did change the copy.
Yes.
Okay. So they're live every Tuesday. I thought they.
No, they were Thursday. Now Tuesday at 7.
Sorry about that, guys. I let you down. You know what that means? Where's my fail horn? There's my fail horn. That's for me.
Well, besides that, make sure you check out some Facebook fun. Our friends Disney Dork and the Sorcerer Radio, a fun zone. They're great places for fun and entertainment on Facebook. Until next time, I'm Kristen. With me, pretending to be Bubba, is Al John. Bon appetit, everybody.
This podcast is not affiliated with the Walt Disney Company or its holdings and is intended for entertainment purposes.
Thanks, Al John.
Thank you, Kristen. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you Sunday live for the Disney List